Hey beautiful souls, David Essery here. I wanted to do a video today to talk about a subject that I think is so important but so rarely gets talked about, and that is the power of acceptance. If you joined me for my workshop last Monday night, Blessings of the Sun with Archangel Uriel, I actually talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the session because I felt guided to with the work that we were doing. But it is so important, I thought I should do another video today to share with all of you guys because I think it might be helpful. So yeah, the power of acceptance. The reason why this is so important, and I've actually got a message that I'm going to read to you in a second, who will probably explain it far better than I'm going to. In fact, you know what? Let's just read the message, and then we'll talk about it in a little bit more detail. Yeah, I can hear him in my ear saying, "Yeah, read the message, read the message." Beloved souls, it is such a joy to step forward to speak on a subject of such importance, but also one that is so overlooked. Acceptance is the defining factor in our ability to help an incarnated soul. As a God-free being, manifest upon the beloved Mother Planet, you have free will. This is essential to your ability to learn. You must be able to make choices for yourself in order to experience both the positive and negative aspects of life in physical. As such, we are bound by universal law to not interfere without express permission. This permission can come in many forms, primarily, though, the direct request of the individual, but also often at times it is pre-scheduled within the life book of an incarnate. This acts as an invitation for us to add our energy to your situation. However, even in these circumstances, our energy must be accepted fully by the individual. This acceptance has many levels. For energy to be fully integrated, it must be accepted at every one. Otherwise, only partial absorption shall occur. An individual may call upon us asking for help with a situation, but on a deeper, perhaps even unconscious level, they do not feel worthy or fear the change. These are but two common reasons. When this happens, we are unable to fully assist the individual. This is why so many feel their prayers go unanswered. In some circumstances, we are able to assist you to release that which you may prevent you from fully accepting, so that we may help you further in the future. This assistance can sometimes involve an initiation. Please know that the teams of light always stand at the ready, and it is our utmost desire to be of aid. It is only if we are expressly forbidden that we are unable to intervene. Other than acceptance, karmic debt, predetermined life events, or interference with another life stream are the most common reasons why we may be denied full permission. When you call upon us, make the conscious choice to accept our light at the deepest levels, and be ready to release anything that may prevent our intervention, and we shall stand forever ready to assist. Yours in divine service, Archangel Uriel. Thank you, Uriel, for that message. There's a lot of really important information in here, so I'm going to break it down a little bit. So essentially, as a being with free will, it's up to us individually to accept whether we receive energy, whether that's, from the universe or from an angel or an ascended master, a dragon, a unicorn, or whatever. We have the right to refuse it. And of course, this is what the law of grace is when we, say, for instance, invoke the violet flame or send another energy under the law of grace to another person. What we are saying is that we are giving it if they are willing to accept it, either from their highest self or from themselves individually. Because it may be that they don't want that help, or it's not for their best because they need to work through the situation themselves. That's why invoking anything under the law of grace is so powerful. So, I had this analogy come into my mind the other day when I was thinking about preparing for that other workshop. We as human beings are very much like a computer. And if you look at a computer, it's made up of thousands and thousands of files, lots of different individual programs and things that all contain lots of files. There are things on our computers that we put them on ourselves, photos, pictures, maybe bits of software, etc., etc. And we know what they are and we know what they do. Just like ourselves, we know this is kind of in relation to our conscious thought process. We know what it is, we know how it works, we know why it's there. But also on a computer, you have thousands and thousands of files that have been installed by, the manufacturers of the operating systems, by other bits of software that you've installed on there. And you have no idea what they are or what they do, but they have an ability to kind of override what you can do on your computer, to tell you what you can and can't do. And this is much like our subconscious. We take on programs from other people, from our parents, from society, from the 3D matrix, from our ancestors, from our past lives. We have all of these programs running in our subconscious. We have no idea what they are, but yet when we go to do something, they get triggered and prevent us from doing something. And when it comes to acceptance, this is such a classic part of the situation. We could be sitting here, for instance, saying, I wish to manifest £10 million on the lottery. This is my wish. I consciously accept this into my life. I'm going to set my vision. I'm going to pray. I'm going to ask. I'm going to really feel and see myself winning the lottery or whatever it is. But yet week after week, it doesn't come. Now, this might not always be the case, but in some instances, the reason for this would be because on a subconscious level, you may have some program running where you don't feel worthy to receive that, or perhaps you're afraid of the change that might bring to your life. And these subconscious programs activate and they essentially override us. They are always changing our resonance, right? So I've talked about this before, resonance, the vibration that we operate at. And we end up kind of in this battle where we're trying to operate in an abundant mindset, where we're trying to create that thing, but there's this other part of ourselves that's vibrating at the exact opposite. And we kind of end up somewhere in between, and we can't quite make the thing that we want to work on, that we want to manifest, happen. And this is essentially acceptance. We can't fully accept to receive that abundance because there is a part of us that's blocking it from happening. So essentially we need to do, at that point in time, if we end up in that situation, we have to do the shadow work. We have to look at where those fears, where those blocks are coming from, what those subconscious programs are, and release them. And as we do that, as we start doing that, that scale begins to shift a little bit more towards the acceptance. And eventually, if we can let that stuff go, we can then fully accept something and manifest it in our lives. And this is true for absolutely everything. For healing is such a classic one, for instance. There's so many reasons, unfortunately, why human beings feel they need to be punished or whatever. They don't feel worthy of being in good health. And I'm not saying this is the reason why everyone is sick, because there's a million different reasons for these things, but it is quite a common one. And you can be sitting there thinking, I wish to be in perfect health. I love myself. I give myself that. I want this for me. But then there's just this subconscious niggling that could be absolutely anything based on, it could not even be yours. It could be ancestral. It could be a past life. But it's just pulling your resonance away from this idea of perfect health. And that essentially is the journey we have been on for the last 12 years for this ascension journey, is we have been doing the shadow work to clear all of those lower blocks, those things that draw our resonance away from what we want. I rambled on a little bit there. I'm just going to come back to Uriel's beautiful message. So he's talking about it very much from the perspective of him as an angel being able to assist. And he's saying that acceptance is the defining factor in our ability to help an incarnated soul. So you could be praying to the angels all day long for something to happen, but if there is that part of you that cannot accept the help, that will be a block to it. And he says, as a God-free being manifest upon the beloved mother planet, you have free will. This is essential for your ability to learn, as you must be able to make the choices for yourself in order to experience both the positive and negatives of life in physical. So Earth is a school. We come here to learn. There are things before we incarnate where we decide these are the lessons that we wish to learn in our lives. And it may well be that we wish to overcome that situation that happened to us several lifetimes ago that's creating that block within us. That may be the goal for this lifetime even. But we are here to learn about that. And if we were guided through every single step of our lives, we wouldn't be able to we wouldn't necessarily have the stumbles, we wouldn't have the gains, because everything would be perfect. If everything was led by an angel, everything would be perfect. We have to learn through these experiences for soul growth. And that's essentially why we are here. We are trying to grow as a soul. We are trying to ascend as a soul. And we couldn't do that without free will. He says, as such, we are bound by universal law to not interfere without express permission. So an angel cannot interfere with someone's free will. They cannot change their life path unless they are invited in. And he says this permission can come in many forms, primarily through the direct request of the individual. So essentially, you asking for help. But also often at times it is pre-scheduled within the life book of the incarnate. So your life book is before you come down to earth, you decide certain key events, not your entire life, but you decide, okay, so these are the lessons I want to learn in this lifetime. And in order to help me do that, I want this to happen here, roughly around here, and this to happen around here. And I'm going to make contracts with these individual people to help me to learn those lessons. And all of this is written out in our life book. It doesn't determine every single facet of our life, but it's just a guideline on certain things. And of course, because you have free will, you can choose to ignore those when you're down here if you so desire to. You can go off path. The problem is though that often then when we pass on and go back and we go, oh, I was supposed to do that, wasn't I? I better go back down and do it again. Because of course we have complete clarity up there, which we don't down here. So that some events are pre-scheduled where they are able to intervene without you directly asking, but otherwise the primary source of their intervention is by us asking for it, for us praying for support, whether that's directly to the angels or to God, and the angels step in as his emissaries. So I say he, she, he, they is. Look, I don't believe God is God is genderless. It's a being. We tend to use these pronouns as human beings as ways of easily describing it, but it is completely genderless. It's a very human way to perceive these things. So he goes on to say that these things act as an invitation for us to add our energy to a situation. However, even in these circumstances, our energy must be accepted fully by the individual. This acceptance has many levels. For energy to be fully integrated, it must be accepted at every one. Otherwise, only partial absorption shall occur. So for instance, if we can't fully accept it because we have those blocks, they can sometimes help in some manner to assist us, but not give us the full thing that we are looking for. He says an individual may call upon us asking for help for a situation, but on a deeper, perhaps even unconscious level, they do not feel worthy or fear the change. These are but two common reasons. And this is what I was talking about with the computer analogy. We have these subconscious programs running that can block us from really accepting this stuff fully. He says when this happens, we are unable to fully assist the individual. This is why so many feel their prayers go unanswered. So we can be praying for that miracle to come in all of the time, and they want to help. The angels, they literally live to serve. They are created to serve, and that's all they want to do. You know, they literally weep for us down here, seeing the situations that we go through, because they just want to help us so desperately. But they can only intervene when they're given permission to do so. He says in some circumstances we are able to assist you to release that which may prevent you from fully accepting. So they may actually help us to clear those blocks. He says so that we may help you further in the future. And this assistance can sometimes involve an initiation. So to fully release something, initiations are often used, and this is essentially a challenge. Right? So we go, right, okay, I want to release my fears of lack of abundance. I don't want to fear that I haven't got enough anymore, so that I can kind of release that emotional attachment to my financial abundance and manifest more. So you then get presented with an initiation where you are presented with a lack thereof to see how you react to that situation, so that you can fully release that fear and then be able to manifest more in the future. It seems quite cruel, really, at times, but the angels aren't doing it to be cruel, or even it might not even be the angels. It might just be the universe. It might be ascended masters involved. Whatever it is, it's not about them putting you through this hardship. We are here to learn for soul growth. That is, although we may not feel like we want it down here because it's so hard, on a higher level, that is exactly why we have chosen to be here. And the best way to do that is through these initiations. So it is, in fact, helping us to go through these situations, even though they can be really challenging. But that is how we overcome these blocks. That is how we change our lives. He says, please know that the teams of light always stand at the ready, and it is of our utmost desire to be of aid. It is only if we are expressly forbidden that we are unable to intervene. Just kind of what I was saying a minute ago, you know, they are here to be of service. He says, other than acceptance, karmic debt, predetermined life events, or interference with another life stream are the most common reasons why we may be denied full permission. So whether you can fully accept something or not might not be the only reason why you don't receive something when you ask. It could be, you know, in association to some old karma that you may have from a past life, or something that needs to be cleared first. It may be that there are pre-life events that you have chosen that are in your life book to help you with that overall soul growth, that if you were to get this thing that you want now, it would mean that that wouldn't happen. And of course, that's what you are here for at the end of the day. Or if it would interfere with another life stream, another person, essentially, because they have free will, and they, you know, it might be that the being has permission to help you, but it doesn't have permission to interfere with them. So he says, he ends it, when you call upon us, make the conscious choice to accept our light at the deepest levels, and be ready to release anything that may prevent our intervention, and we shall stand forever ready to assist. So that's his guidance at the end of this. If you are calling upon the angels or God or anyone else for help, try and make a conscious choice to release anything that may prevent you from doing so at the same time. You know, if you're aware of a block or a fear, ask for help with that as well. And, you know, that may mean that they can get in at a much deeper level and help you. So there you go. That is the power of acceptance. I really hope that is helpful for you today and will assist you as you move forward on your journey. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please do like and subscribe. I share channeled messages, meditations and stuff all the time, and we'd love to have you as a part of our small community. Thank you so much for watching, and sending you lots of love. Bye bye.